Good morning. I'm back. uh, yeah. So I meant to be back yesterday, but I woke up and my throat was really sore. And I don't know. I think it's the weather and the change of weather, and I don't know what, but it was. I thought it was going to kind of go away, but it really didn't. So, and I didn't feel that great last night, but I feel better today. So I don't. I don't know what's going on. I always forget too that spring is there's something in that that flowers or comes out in the early spring that gives me some um, like congestion and things. So some flowering thing that I'm sensitive to. So I don't know. But anyway, good morning, Susan and Ruth and Dora. Yes, thank you. So yeah, I took a week off. I just it just seemed like the right thing to do, and I didn't do any yoga. That's not completely true. I think I did a little meditation, but I didn't do any asana. And I don't think it's a bad thing to take a break from the asana from time to time. Um, I don't like to schedule breaks, right? So, this idea of doing asana once a week or something like that, um, I don't, I think, right? So for me, if I plan on doing it every day and then I take a sort of a scheduled break, it's better than if I were to schedule it once a week, because then I'd want to take a break from that, right? And then I'd end up doing basically no asana, right? So uh, what I find is with my practice, um, you always want to break from your schedule, whatever your schedule is, doesn't matter. Like if you were just doing asana once a month, you would want to take a break in that. It's our nature, right? We even people that crave routine also uh, have that urge to um, shake things up, right? And get out of the rut of whatever it is you've done. Even good habits can become um, kind of a rut or a burden. Like they can feel like that. So I would say, don't be afraid to take a break. Um, and know that coming back to it, things feel uh, fresher, right? Usually, sometimes you may not come back at all, and that's okay. You may eventually want to come back, but I see this a lot with yoga practice, where people will be very diligent in their practice for a certain amount of time, and then kind of I don't want to say burnout, but their uh, their dedication wanes, right? And then they leave altogether, right? And you may never see them again, or they may come back. Um, and again, like with a renewed sense of dedication for a short period of time, and then you know they go back. I mean, and that's fine, right? That's one way to do it. I hesitate to encourage that because I feel like for most people, there's a real sense of failure, right, in that inability to maintain that level of interest or dedication. Um, when I came back to yoga after being away for, I don't know, 10 years or so, uh, when I was busy with kids and doing all that stuff, I didn't have, the the deeper knowledge of yoga that I do now, and it felt like something I couldn't do, and also kind of maintain my everyday life. And I've come to know this to be incorrect, right? Um, you can absolutely maintain your practice regardless of what's going on in your life. But your concept of your practice wants needs to change a little. Um, you can't maintain the same practice, right? You can't do the same practice at 20 years old that you'll do at 60. Um, I mean, you can, depending, if you had a very um, not a super harsh asana, but that's not usually how we are, right? And in our 20s, our perception of what we can do, should do, must do is different, I think, than what it might be at an older age. Um, our perception of what is important changes, I think, for the most part. Um, so when I took that break and I came back, it was, I dumped in both feet and went to an actual class every day for a month, which was a great experience, but it was a lot, right? And it was, I was glad when that month was over, and then I took a break again, right? Because it was a lot, and maybe too much, and my interest was waning. So I've done all of these things, right? Gone in all the way and then back out all the way. Um, and there's no right or wrong to any of this. But I can tell you that my most um, sustained practice, my most useful practice, is this one that allows for breaks, allows for um, some changes without it being a source of uh, you know unhappiness and discomfort, right? We spend a lot of our time, when we do think about ourselves, which, I mean, sometimes we studiously avoid doing that, but when we do, I find that there's a lot of regret, there's a lot of kind of self-criticism, that we don't feel like we're doing the right things or enough of the right things. um, we are very critical and think that we are much lazier than we truly are, much less motivated. Um, we have a standard which may be very unrealistic. Um, but yet we're going to keep, kind of beating ourselves over the head with it. Rather than doing that, maybe what we want to do is adjust our um, adjust our idea of what is successful. What would be a successful practice? Um, in truth, and I mean, I've said this before, and I know people don't believe me, but if all you did was come to your mat and take a nap, just lay down in Shavasana, you'd be doing yoga, right? Bringing your attention, bringing your mind and your body to a space where you are paying attention to what is going on. Um, you're noticing how you feel. You're noticing the connection between your mental state and your physical state. Um, you're just checking in. That is maybe as important a part of yoga as anything. And what does that take? Maybe 5 minutes. Yet we don't do it, right? Uh, we don't do it. We avoid it. Um, Even people who do, people who will do 2 hours of exercise, and I mean, I've certainly known these people in yoga who do a lot of asana and for hours, they have a very rigorous practice, but they've yet to really get into what I would consider the meat and potatoes of the practice, which is how are you feeling, right? We studiously avoid looking at that. Um, we're worried about how much we can bend. Can we touch our toes? How stiff are our hips? Which are important things, right? But in yoga, we're always looking at the whole, right? The body as a whole, the mind, body, spirit. It's a whole package. You can't just work on uh, your forward folds or your splits or whatever. Then it's not whole. It's just a part. So take some time. If you have time every day for asana, great. If you don't, you've got to have 5 minutes for a little meditation, a little deep breathing, um, noticing how you're feeling, and looking at what you could do to help, right? So if you're having a day where you feel overwhelmed, maybe that's not the day to take on a lot of new things, right? Um, if you have a day where you feel strong and happy, then take advantage of that and bring in something new. Um, Work on something, that maybe is hard and you've been putting off. Um, we think of our body as the only part that needs um, that can be injured, right? That can be out of commission. If you hurt your shoulder, you wouldn't use it, right? You would back off. You wouldn't try to lift heavy weights. But yet we're pushing ourselves to do this um, with our mind and with our spirit and our emotions and all of these things where we just think we should be able to get through no matter what. But the truth is, we don't have to. Right? You can take a break. You can postpone some things that look too heavy, look too hard. Pick a better day to tackle them. And if today is a day where you don't need to do too much, then that's a good thing. Um, it is the whole, right? The whole of everything that matters. So just take your time when you need to. Take a week off. Take a spring break. Yeah, so what about the weather? How do you like the weather? Crazy, huh? So nice. It's supposed to be like in the 70s this week, which seems crazy, but we're going to do it. We're going to jump right into the warm weather. I think that's how it always is now. Um, yeah, I have a lot of plans. I have a lot of spring plans, and I feel like it's creeping up now. It's time it's time to actually put those things into practice. So that'll be good. So let's just sit and breathe. Relax the shoulders. I know you've done this before, but let's do it again. Just give ourselves a few moments to check in, right? And this on a day when you are busy, when you are rushed, this could be your yoga. You could do it in the morning, you could do it at night. This little check in. Um, See, in the morning, seeing how you're feeling, seeing how the body feels, how your spirit is doing, what's your emotional state, and then using that to build your day. And then at night, looking again, how do I feel? How did I do? Right? How did I do? Did I push too hard? Did I blow up at somebody? Was I able to stay with my yamas and niyamas? Or did I just like freak out, right? And if so, why? Like what was I doing? A lot of times when we look back at these things, we can see why, right? Oh, okay, yeah, I was really hungry. And I hadn't eaten all day and I yelled at somebody. Well, okay, you get it, right? You know what you're doing. So the next day we'll try to do better, try to be more aware of what's going on. And it's our practice, right? It's our practice. None of these things happen in isolation, right? We don't live in a vacuum. We don't live in a cave up on the hill. we live in the world, and we're going to have to adapt, right? So that's how it works. So you're breathing, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck. Notice your jaw, right? Are you clenching your teeth at this point? Maybe. How does your chest feel? So hopefully not too bad, right? We've gotten up not that long ago, maybe, and things haven't had a chance to really go bad so much, right? We're, we're still we're still maybe in that peaceful state, but maybe not. Maybe you woke up feeling very tense. Um, sometimes I will wake up and my neck and my shoulders are super tight, and maybe I'll have had a very difficult night, hard, slept wrong, maybe slept on something wrong, or maybe in your dreams, you were just tense working through something. So whatever it is, we're just breathing and letting it go. And then just hang the head down. Keep breathing, shoulders relaxed. Lift the head, keep lifting the chin, head drops back. Back to center, breath in and lower. Just moving within that range today. Back up, moving left. Never want to force anything. Back up to your seat. Let's lean forward and bring the hands out in front. Back up, hands behind, squeeze the shoulders together. Set the gaze up at the ceiling. And then back up to your seat. Lean forward a little and move around. One way And the other. Coming back up to your seat, bring the arms wide. We'll have a deep breath here, and then on the exhale, hands together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands. And then hands down by your side. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Once more. Lifting up. And then right arm by your side, reach across with the left. Switch sides. Back up. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind you. Sit up tall. And then take a twist. Back to center. Switch sides. And back to center. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall and lean forward. Think about that hinging from the hips. And moving back up. Both legs out in front. Let's point and flex the feet. Rotate around. One direction and then the other. Bring the legs wide. And then we're going to fold, again, hinging from the hips. Bring the hands out under the legs or out in front. Your choice, really. trying to keep the feet up. My feet always want to come in, right? So we're trying to keep them up. You feel the difference, right? You can feel when you relax the feet, there's not as much pressure in here, which is why I think my feet want to do that, right? It's a more constant pressure with the feet up like this. And you probably won't be able to fold as far forward, but that's okay. Right? It's more important to get that stretch. It doesn't matter so much what you're doing with your body to get there. Internally, right? So that's what's so interesting to me about the practice is that we're all seeking the same internal space. We want to feel challenged. We want to feel some stretch, some progress, although I hesitate to use that word, but we want to feel a progression, I guess, in our practice, that we are getting somewhere. It's hard to quantify this, which I think is why asana is such a popular part of your stuff in that, right? You can feel when you're able to stretch more. You can feel stronger. You can feel there's a physical residue, right, of those changes. And not so much, right? It's harder to quantify rather the other changes. But they are just as important, if not more so, in terms of our well-being. Right? Come on back up. Bring your feet together. Take a deep breath and fold. So if I gave you a couple of things to help you quantify your practice, they might be, how do you deal with unexpected events? When something unusual happens or out of your normal scope, how do you handle it? Do you go crazy? Do you get angry or upset? Or do you just kind of roll with it and let that just be another change for you? You see where I'm going with this, right? you know which one is the preferable way, right? Come on back up. You're going to bend the right knee, hug it in, sit up tall. And then lower the right knee. Bring that foot in close by the leg. Take a breath and then fold forward. Another way might be, how do you cope with loss? When you lose something that is important to you. Does that wreck you? Right? Does it? Do you get angry? Do you yell about how unfair it is? How everything is out to get you? Or can you accept it? Can you understand that many things in life aren't about us? We may be the center of our universe. Come on back up. But we're not the center of the universe. Many things that happen to us are just the turn of the wheel. Right? Maybe there's someone else's turn to have something good happen to them. I would say we're all of us, hopefully, somewhere in between those two extremes, right? And then lower the left knee down. Take a deep breath and fold. So, are you ever going to reach, a a renunciate's level of equanimity? Probably not, no. Are you still going to feel a twinge when you lose something that's important to you? Are you going to grieve? Yeah, I mean, you will. There's no reason to deny that. We won't become robots in our practice, but we understand where it's coming from. We know that these emotions are normal. It's normal to experience grief or anger or frustration, all of these things. But we don't let those emotions become us, right? We just experience the emotions and move through them back to that peaceful place. Deep breath in and fold. So, how you move in and out of these states can tell you, where are you in your practice? How successful are you being with these practices that we're working on? And if not that much, then it gives you some clue about where you need to work. Right? Just like the yoga practice, the asana will show us areas where we might need to work, right? Maybe our hamstrings are tight. Maybe, we have different things about our body that we're going to have to work around or work through. The same thing with our emotions, right? We have different experiences that make different things hard, right? Maybe we have a hard time expressing our emotions, or maybe anger is a real issue for you, or grief. Being aware of it and noticing allows us to then make changes to work on those areas so that they aren't such a stumbling block for us. They are more integrated into our whole experience. Bend the knees and let's lower down. Just stay here for a few moments and breathe. We're going to bend that right knee. Left leg is long. Just relax here for a few breaths. And then lowering that knee out to the right. Breathe. Back to center. Draw that knee across the body. So we're rolling up on the left hip. Trying to keep the shoulders resting on the mat. and then back. We'll switch around here. So now the left leg is in, right leg long. Then lowering left knee out to the side. And then coming to center and across. Back to center. Extend the legs. Let's bring the feet a little wider here on the mat. Arms out to a T. So we've got that 5-pointed star. And then let's bring everything back to center. We're going to do a bridge, regular bridge, and then a supported bridge. So we've got a block, bring it nearby. So we've got heels back close toward the body, feet about hip width apart, hands by your side, pressing down to lift up. Lower back down for a breath, and then get your block. Back up and resting on the block. Breathe. If you feel like bringing the knees into the chest, you can, or extending the legs. Those are all good options. And then remove the block, or resting back down. Soles of the feet together. Arms maybe up over the head, if that feels good. If it's not good, then you can bring them down to your belly or whatever you want. You might grab the opposite elbows here. It kind of draws the shoulder blades together and gives you some of that open chest feeling. And then bring the knees together, hug them into the chest. You can rock a little side to side. Maybe extend the legs, hands by your side. And then when you feel ready, you can lower down. You could bring both legs together, one at a time, whatever is your preferred way to do this. But hands by the side, palms facing down will help give you some support. And then resting however you want on the mat. We're going to move into Shavasana. Take a moment to check in. How are you feeling? Hopefully peaceful and relaxed. The practice moves the body, moves the muscles and the joints, but also the energy in the body. We are linking the breath and the movement. There's a kind of a special thing that happens when those things are together. So the practice has a lot of higher meanings. We are working toward, this peace of mind, this connection with the one, with the self, the biggest form of the self, and with the universal self. But we don't even have to think about that, right? Which is the beautiful thing to me, is that all we have to do is go through the practice. Um, maintain that connection and that awareness with the mind, body, spirit. All those other things are happening all by themselves. Um, it's like if you're trying to get up a mountain, all you have to worry about is the steps in front of you. You know that if you just keep walking, you are going to make it. If you think about the goal, if you think about, oh my gosh, I got to climb this mountain, that's when the doubts start creeping in. That's when you start feeling overwhelmed and like there's no way you can ever achieve that, right? But it's inevitable. If you take the steps, you will reach the mountain. It could be a very big mountain. I can't tell you when you'll reach it. Everybody's mountain is different heights. Um, but I can tell you that you don't have to worry about it. Just worry about the steps right in front of you and keep going. Um, if you stop, you will not get there. I can tell you that. That's the only thing I can tell you for sure. And that if you keep going, you're going to get there or close to there, right? We're going to be up there. Um, and every step gets you closer, right? That is the beauty of sustained practice. Um, you'll never be further away. You'll always be closer. So, moving a bit now, getting back into the body movement, and then making your way up to a seat if you want, or you could stay on the mat. I will never know what you do. We'll bring hands together, breath in and out. Thank you for taking some time this morning for you and for your practice, and then for sharing it with me and everyone else virtually. I hope you have a beautiful Tuesday. Namaste. Okay, great. Meditation. Right? We've kind of worked the body a little, gotten some of that movement out, and now we can breathe. Sitting up tall, relax the shoulders, steady with the breath, holding that peaceful state of mind. Maybe you have an image that you're focusing on, maybe a mantra, like a group of words or one word, whatever it is that keeps you here and focused. Peaceful, relaxed focus. Okay. There you go. You're back. So what I love about meditation is it's like a timeout, right? So from in the best sense of the word, if you ever had put your kids in timeout, um, timeout functions best as just a reset, right? Chance to relax, to get things under control for both people, not just the kid, but the parent as well. Um, it's kind of a little enforced, come on, just let it go. We're back here. We're not thinking about this stuff. We're not involved in all this. We're just resetting. We are reminding ourselves who we are, what we are. We are spirit. We are self. We are part of all of this. We're not always acting in that place. Really, we are busy with other things, right? We can't think like that all day long and get stuff done, right? But we can jump in. We can remind ourselves and then come back feeling strong, feeling energized, right? Hopefully. Okay. Enjoy Tuesday. I'll be back tomorrow.